But do you hear the sound effects?
We're live now, so by the way, it should be.
I do.
What's up?
Mute those mics for live. And then I'm gonna.
Hey, I'm muted.
So we should be showing up. You should be getting a notification that we're live.
I got one. What are the videos? Are the videos at the right distance? Like, do I need to pull that one up? I got notifications there.
No, I think it's pretty good. So that's us. That's him.
All right.
He's gonna manage the video.
I mean, I can pull it out further too if you want to just do the super
One thing
wide.
I don't like is that you got the mic right in your face. Is there any way that you could just have that thing below you and just like straight up?
Straight up.
Yeah, like maybe like that. There you go. Much better.
You could also put that thing on like a book or something.
Stand it up. Whatever Zach prefers, I don't care. Just don't care that.
Either.
Roll with that.
Guess I should pull up the notes.
We have notes here. I need you to send me the link to the chat channel.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I gotta figure out how to mute this because right now it's not muted.
Yeah, so everybody can hear what we're talking about. That's good.
My camera links. Yeah, they can actually. They can hear it wherever that camera audio is. How did we mute that last time? Sources.
Just send it to you on Teams.
How did we mute that?
Like an audio check. Video sources audio. Audio mixer. Top, middle.
Okay, that's exactly what it is.
When you dream, do you see beautiful rays of light shimmering, guiding you through the night? I know it feels like the night's getting longer and light is harder to find. I promise I'll always be there. I'll remind you when you close your eyes. If they send for me tomorrow, even if I leave right now, you'll find comfort there in knowing whenever in doubt, you can find me when the lights turn out. When the lights turn out. Even now, laying down hundreds of miles away, I can see you and me like it was yesterday. I know it's not the same, but I'm still behind you every step of the way. Look in yourself and I'll be there, I can guide you. All the love is the same. If they send for me tomorrow, even if I leave right now, you'll find comfort there in knowing whenever in doubt, you can find me when the lights turn out. When the lights turn out. You can find me when the lights turn out. When the lights turn out. You can find me when the lights turn out.
Everybody's telling me love is not, it seems to be first though you don't want it to. I bet I walk my way, let the hum and voices fade, living the way I do. Here I am outside the door, trying to collect my thoughts, silly words from yesterday. I feel like I lose my mind every time when you're around. I have so much to say.
Welcome, everybody, to Denver, Colorado, and episode 59 of the Coffee and Code Cast, the podcast where we talk about neither coffee or code. I'm Kyle Johnson.
I'm Mike Sheehan. Special guest on the show. He's been here before, joining us live from Studio 4A.
Some studio.
Some studio somewhere in downtown Denver. Back on the cast again is Zach Servey. Zach, welcome back to the cast.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
Hey,
it
look at
worked.
that.
It worked. Hello,
He's-
everybody.
We put Zach in charge of the video.
Zach's our new video
Yeah.
guy also, by the way, tonight for episode 59 only. We're trying him out. If he doesn't
Yeah.
work out tonight, then we're going to have to cut him.
And
But
he's fired, yeah.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, man, we're here. We're doing this thing. You have some funky camera shit that's showing up on his video feed, by the way.
Uh-oh. What kind of camera shit?
Remember before how like it shows all the side menus and stuff?
Oh,
like that? Yeah.
which view?
His view.
Might
got-
be.
This camera
Oh,
right there.
okay.
We'll
Well, I'll
just,
fix
we can
that.
just we can just roll with it. I mean, I don't really care.
Yeah.
It looks kind of high tech. It adds a little more technical flair to the tech podcast.
How's that? Does that fix it?
Is it better?
Yes.
You're welcome.
Look at that.
What
So
do we
yeah.
got going on the show today, buddy?
I did look at the show notes yesterday, actually, so I know we have a few things going on.
Good job.
I did something.
All
Don't
right.
say I never did nothing for you.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about. We haven't had a chance to talk in about 3 weeks on the show, so we're going to get caught up with some of my Christmas adventures. And we're going to talk about some updates for 2020 on the Coffee and Codecast, website updates, and our grand ambitions for going live, chasing down the old Howard Stern live on the Coffee and Codecast.
That's right.
And we've got some updates on crowdfund projects. That might include a machine that's very near and dear to everybody's hearts here. May or may not. May or may not. And yeah, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't talk about Tesla and airline status and that sort of thing either,
man.
wouldn't it?
We've been putting off Tesla news for a long time. I think we deserve.
I debate that. I don't think we have.
Okay. You failed to mention that we have another guest on the show.
What are you talking about? I already introduced him.
There's another one right there.
Oh,
Look at him sleeping.
he's sleeping right now.
Don't wake him
Don't
up.
wake him up.
We don't want to wake him up.
No.
He's sleeping right now. Can you zoom in on him? I don't think. Is he on the video?
No.
No, because the camera's over.
You'd have to add a third camera.
We have a puppy cam around here somewhere.
That would be great. We should have done that.
Zach's puppy's
Yeah.
joining us today.
Brand new puppy, right? Day
Yes.
old. Well,
Well,
to you.
he's 2 months old.
Yeah.
I got him last night.
Yeah.
Oakley?
Oakley.
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 Welcome
Love it.
Oakley to
Love
the
it.
show.
Passed
Oakley's.
out.
You wore him out because we were setting up and he was like chewing shit, running around,
Knocking
Doing-
his water dish over.
doing all the things that puppies do.
Right.
Karen Johnson's wondering about my Zen. It was sort of Zen. So the camping trip was Zen. The second half trip in Vegas was less zen, but we're going to talk about that a
Yeah,
little bit today.
let's not jump ahead here.
She was asking questions. I just
Yeah.
wanted to.
Oh, crack open that thing. Come on. Oh, that was a nice one. We should have recorded
It
that.
sounds a little different when you're a mile high.
I was just about to say that.
All right. What do we got on the show? We got the website's updated a little bit. I did a lot of work to that. Did
you really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't look a whole lot different, but all the different various places that we're live streaming, the video,
Yeah.
the podcast, everything's on there now. Pretty easy to find. I did some transcription of the show too, trying to get some SEO rankings.
Oh, I thought you were like, translation is what I heard you say.
No, transcription. So
Okay.
like audio to text transcription.
Okay.
Try and get a little more content out there.
Python.
I mean, if you want to write me a Python app that can do that, that'd be great.
Actually, one of my final projects in school was to take this like talking head that someone else had programmed and then add text to speech to like create this AI. It was all done in Python.
Wow. I didn't know you had Python experience. That's excellent.
Yeah, that was like base course.
All right. Is that what they teach pretty much everything now? Is everything is in Python, right? Like that's kind of, I think that's the industry standard anymore, right?
Python.
Python. Everybody loves Python.
Episode 59 is brought to you by White Claw and Python.
What's the White Claw motto?
No laws when you're on the claws. Got to be careful, though. I'm at the workplace, so I have to abide by some laws here.
I mean, we already are 3 drinks in. 4 drinks in. I
You
don't know.
speak for yourself, brother.
Something
I'm
like
doing
that.
great.
Oh,
You're doing great.
Thank you, Slayer.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you.
I always appreciate Slayer's moral support. You know, he's
Exactly.
always, whether he's here in spirit, I always feel very supported by him.
he's here to help.
We have a I don't know how this is going to pick up on the live cast or on the recording, but there's a nice, sounds like we're doing this from like some kind of theater hall. There's a little echo. Do you pick that up at all?
Maybe a little. Not too bad.
Yeah, there's like a concert echo.
What you hear through the headphones, though, is like so much more intense than
Yeah.
what you actually pick up when the file is like edited.
I'm picking up all kinds of echo. We'll see what happens. We're
Yeah.
doing this live for the first time. We didn't plan this. We didn't. I mean, we kind of did. We brought
barely,
shit.
we barely got it together before the show was supposed to start. So
I mean, I threw a box together. You threw a bag together, and we just like hurled that towards the Delta agent so we could get into the lounge before our flight.
right,
And they made it here. So how about that?
everything's working. So that's good.
Yeah. So where are we at here?
Yeah. So a couple things I wanted to mention. We kind of put a call out too on Facebook and Twitter, and I don't remember where else. But one of the things we want to do is blow the show up a little bit up this year, if
Yeah.
we can, pump it up a little bit. And one of the things that I think you can help if you're listening to help us with that is you can write us a review. Give us a review, give us a rating. We ask for that pretty much every show at the end of the show if you make it that far.
We do.
So you can help us, www.coffeecodecast.com/review.
Review.
Help us out, rate us, give us a review, like us on Facebook, share us
Please
with a
do.
friend.
Please
like
do.
anything you can do will help. That's how we spread the show.
That's how we grow. That's how we make the money.
That's how we monetize. Somebody was asking us how we monetize this thing.
We're going to monetize it this year when you start reviewing us.
That's right.
Give us a good review.
Once other people start finding us.
Actually, we should just get bad reviews. That would give us more money quicker, probably. If there's a lot of bad publicity about us out there.
You want us to be like controversial.
Yeah, we're the controversial guys. The Coffee Code Cast controversy.
Yeah. So what you're saying is we should talk about more politics?
We could just like start spewing some shit out there and being very opinionated. And Gomer Pyle was thinking you were going to ask to document our sightings of the erotic photo hunt.
Oh, I mean, I forgot about that. I didn't put that in the notes.
Columbia, South Carolina. We have a few listeners.
Well, our good friend Allie Gress from The Office.
AG. Represent.
She and Bo.
Bo.
Uh,
Dr. Bo Nipper.
Yeah, they took care of all the top score slots of erotic photo hunt wherever it was that
We
they
talked
were.
about this like 20 episodes ago.
That's right. It's kind of a recurring bit.
Survey, you ever had the pleasure of playing erotic photo hunt?
I have not.
Oh, it's a,
See, that's gonna have to be like a new quest now. You're gonna have to find erotic photo hunt here in Denver.
we might be showing up late to work tomorrow. We're going to have to find erotic photo hunt for him after the show.
Okay, we
We're
can
going
do
to go
that.
tour all the bars down here and figure out
Dog
who's got
friendly
it.
erotic photo
Yeah,
hunt bars.
puppy friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have erotic photo hunt, you're probably a little more lenient in your views anyway. They probably support a puppy coming in.
Yeah.
I'm sure we
We
can
were.
figure it out.
I was telling the Gomer that maybe we need to start creating like a directory on the website of places that you can play erotic photo hunt. Because I think I've told you this. Like, if you look at our SEO rankings or our search rankings, guess what the number one thing that people find us by?
I thought it was
Erotic
spin.
photo hunt?
I thought it was spin coffee.
It's Spin Coffee followed by erotic photo hunt.
That's right. Erotic photo hunt. This is a good opportunity. Like this is an early segue because we're gonna get back to this later on. But I wanted to follow up with you. Last time we had you on the show, you were talking to us a little bit about some mobile app development and interest that you had, and a little side project that you may or may not had been embarking on at that time. And we're gonna hear about the outcome of that, as well as if it was successful. Maybe we could talk to Survey about helping us build an erotic photo hunt directory for the mobile app.
Oh, I think that would be a smash hit.
I think if you really wanted to go big on the Apple Store, like you got to think bigger than.
Yeah. You got a wide audience with the erotic photo
That's
hunt.
right. There's a lot of people out there, especially in my generation, that grew up with the erotic photo hunt and just don't know where to find it these days.
See, I don't even know like what to look for.
Well, we can supply the data. We just need you to like build the.
No,
frame, you
like
know?
if you sent me on a mission to go find it, I wouldn't even know like what
Couldn't
to
do
look
it.
for. I'd have to Google like what it looks like, and that might be a little risky.
Have you seen like you remember what life was like before the the flat screen TV?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's a good start.
You were concerned about that.
I was
You
concerned.
know, like those
We'd be really
arcade
fucked.
games with the guns, and they
I
had
mean,
like the pop.
That was a big setup though. That was like a grand booth. But I mean, just a general like CRT, cathode ray TV, right?
Big tube,
tabletop,
yeah.
big tube TV, tabletop though. I don't know if you ever saw any like TVs like that sitting up at the bar or on a
Oh, yeah,
table.
yeah.
And so erotic photo hunt was kind of that variety back in the day. Now it's more modernized, but like that's how it was when we used to go to the Council Bluffs after hours.
What are you talking? I've never played erotic photo hunt in my life. You seem to think it's like a big deal at the taco joint, but I never saw it.
Everybody would do it, man. You did it. It's okay if you don't want to admit it. You got family on here. I
Yeah.
understand. It's fine. But everybody used to do it. We used to go and put a quarter into this damn thing, and like basically on this jaggedy, poor resolution TV, it was just like you had two side-by-side images.
It's like 8-bit naked ladies.
Sort of. I mean, but they were real photos. They just were rendered at 480p, so
All
the
right.
quality was very poor.
Yeah.
But it was like, you had some busty women, on each, and it was the same image on each side. The only difference was like there might be like a bra cover up here on the left image, and on the right image, a nipple was showing. And so you had to like tap the nipple. Is that what's the difference between the two?
So you had to tap the pixelated nipple.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
pixelated.
Yeah.
But like there was like 4 or 5 differences between the left image and the right image, and so you had a timer, and you had to go through and like pick out all the differences like that.
Yeah.
So it's photo hunt, and their spin was that it was erotic because they had the ladies on there.
So our good friend Gomer is adding to our app here. We should put a Google map so that you can, plot them on a Google map
Well,
and
that's
figure
the
out.
idea. The idea with if you're having a tasty beverage such as a White Claw, and you're wondering where can I find some erotic photo hunt,
I don't feel like White Claw is probably served at these kind of establishments.
you might have to pay extra for
Yeah.
it there. Certainly, you can get yourself a light beer. They probably have Bud Light.
There's probably plenty of light beer. Yeah.
Yeah, in supply.
Yeah.
And so that's what you would do. You'd get yourself a Bud Light, and you'd sit down and pop a quarter into the erotic photo hunt machine.
Very good. Yeah, and Allie and her friend, they messaged me over the Christmas break, and they were like, "Hey, I filled up the whole high score list. We played so much."
Not only did they identify a couple locations where these machines existed, they got the top 10 scores.
Heck yeah.
We were really proud of you guys for that.
Hopefully you
Good
put
job.
in Coffee Code Cast as one of the names.
CCC should be the initials if you're
Right.
playing this game. CCC, by the way.
The video's gone.
Uh-oh. His
it
camera
that one?
turned off.
Oh, see. Oh, remember the old problem we had where it would like die after so many minutes?
Yep.
That's what happens. I
10
guess.
minutes you have to turn it
Survey,
into,
I guess. I mean, I can turn it back on, but I guess you can.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. I mean, right now we have a good angle of camera 1. Camera 1A is looking pretty good right now. It's a little zoomed into my rolls more than I would care to admit, but we didn't
could-
really go over the studio layout very well
we could-
before we started this fucker.
We could
so.
just enable Puppy Cam, and everybody would love that.
Puppy cam would
Yeah.
be pretty cool, man. I think we should do that. He's really out. Lights
Yes,
out.
he is.
Which means I'm gonna be up all night.
Oh,
Nice.
shit. Do we need to wake him up now so that doesn't happen? All right.
Here's what I'm going to do. While we move on to the next item, because this is the big one. Everybody's been waiting.
The big one.
Everybody's been waiting for the Spin Coffee update.
Du-du-dum. Do we have
So,
a drum roll in there somewhere?
well,
We have applause. I think we have applause on
there it
yellow.
is.
Oh, there is a drum roll in there. Puppy cam's up. Puppy wants to hear about this.
Oh, hold on. I got. Go ahead, and I'm going to get Puppy Cam.
You want me to talk about the spin update?
That's right.
I got a big email from the Spinsters over the holidays.
They're spinning.
They were spinning. They're spinning. Let me pull it up right now. Support it spin. The big news is that the shipping's imminent, man. It's coming pretty soon.
That was like 5 updates ago.
It's really shipping now. Like it's really soonly shipping.
It's in the middle of the ocean on a freight somewhere.
When did I get this email? I don't have.
All right. Let me interrupt here.
Okay.
We should have a live feed from my camera now showing up there.
Fancy pants.
Send it on over there to Puppy Cam,
Good.
and people can get a good glimpse of the past that puppy.
Oakley.
Oakley.
Yeah, that way. There
Yep.
you go.
Now you're
Oakley.
real close.
There, I got it.
Boom.
He's out.
Oh, look at this guy.
Yep.
Oakley's just chilling. Oakley. He doesn't know his name yet. We only had him for a week or so.
I've had him for a day.
A day. Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Can I just like set this down somewhere?
I know you need to like prop it up.
There we
Perfect.
go. We're gonna
Yes.
leave it right there for a while.
Puppy Cam. Now you don't have to look at us. This is even better.
That's way better than what we were looking at about 30 seconds ago.
My sister says shipping imminent again.
Well, they did send an update. It was a really fabulous update. Here's the thing, it's like Pinocchio's nose. You always know how much bullshit is going to be told on this update, depending on
How
how.
long the email is. And this was a lengthy update. Like, this is the longest update we've had in probably like a year and a half. All kinds of stuff. Like, Rodrigo was really happy for Christmas and the New Year. He's the founder, and the coffee nose was brought up again, and like they reminded us of all the great accomplishments that happened in 2019. Like all the developments, and they in great detail. And like they kind of invented this group. It was really interesting. Like about 6 months ago, there was this like we were all batch 1 Kickstarters. So I mean, everybody that was asking about this thing, batch 1, like you're the first ones to get it. And then sometime like last July or August, like there was this new group that cropped up. It was like, oh, the pre-order group before the Kickstarter in LA. And they were going to be the first ones to get it. So like apparently in December on this update, this group of early backers, they all got their Spin coffee makers. And they kind of went through and had an interview with everybody about what they thought about their Spin coffee maker. And I'm just going to call it out. Like it looked to me like the most fabricated marketing fucking scam I've ever seen in my life. Like we're gonna find some people that like it and some people that are gonna like argue that it's not that great. Well, I was a little unsure if I should have kept my Kickstarter going, but I did, and I'm really happy because the coffee's amazing. And they had like 4 or 5 of these kinds of reviews, and so we had to read through all that shit after like the year in review, and then they go down further, and then they say, oh, we're so sorry that it took so long and that we had all these delays, and we have to tell you now that the pre-order people received their stuff in Los Angeles, that now like mass production is underway and shipping is imminent, and like we're finally ready to release these machines. And so what it looked like to me was that like now that they had the prototype machines in the hands of the LA people, that mass production was beginning and we would receive our machines. So I don't know like how long it takes to mass produce. I don't know how long it takes to cross the water. I don't know how long it takes to receive, but I check every day on my spin.com account, and I still see a pre-order for $636. Placed December 13th, 2016.
I feel like the last time we talked about this, I feel like you were still in the same boat, like, and you were looking for different people on the forums posting, shots of the device that they actually received, but you said there was nobody.
Nobody did. And so even on this one, nobody did either. It was just like in the email that they sent out to everybody, they had taken this like extra time to go around and ask these random people that were part of the early campaign if they could come over with cameras in their kitchen and take pictures of them using the Spin coffee machine and get their feedback on how it worked. And so, yeah, it was quite the fabrication, I have to say. I don't know. Like, there was mixed reviews on the forums because every time they release this kind of an email update, they have a link to the forum where people can go and ask questions and complain and bitch. And so the first couple of responses were, hey, that was a lot of information, and the one piece you kind of omitted was, like, when am I going to receive my fucking coffee machine? So, we don't know. It's 2020. I don't have a Spin yet, but, it's supposed to be really, really close. Virtual people are using them already and loving the coffee and the quality that it produces and the form factor and the aromas and all of that. We can't enjoy it in Seattle, but somebody in LA is, and that's really nice. So hopefully soon here.
Secretly, I'm happy about this because this is fodder for the show, and if we don't have the Spin coffee update every week, then what the hell are we going to talk about?
This is at least like 4 or 5 episodes a year if you add it all up, and without that, what are we going to talk about?
Yep.
Oakley was really intrigued by that, by the way. He's really
You can tell that he was just enthused
Yeah.
by that update.
Yeah. Speaking of updates, iCuddle cat box. Told you I need a new cat box.
Did you receive that already?
I didn't. No, I never ordered it.
Oh, you thought
I didn't fall trap into this whole Kickstarter world that you've been a part of.
It was only one purchase, man.
How many Kickstarters did you back? Because you went on a run there, and a lot of them delivered, but this one has not.
I mean, they're gonna, someday. It's not like the Rifkin kind of got burned a little bit.
She
more
did,
than I
yeah.
have. I haven't gotten that far in this process yet.
I mean, you're getting close.
My cooler didn't get discontinued. They haven't discontinued the spin coffee maker yet.
Not yet.
They could.
All right.
What happens if you back a Kickstarter and then 5 years goes by and you decide, I'm tired of waiting? Will they give you your money back, or what if the company goes out of business? Then are you SOL?
I think it depends on the business, but they are still offering rebates. There's the refunds are still available. So I feel good about that. Some companies just take the money and they go out of business. And that's just the way it goes. It's a gamble. It's a gamble for sure.
Yep.
Just like Vegas.
Just like Vegas.
That's right.
Kickstarter is just the virtual Vegas. It's
That's
it's a gamble.
We might have some Vegas news later.
We could have some Vegas news later.
So
the
yeah,
iCuddle, what about it?
the iCuddle, man, they're starting to do the same thing as a spin. They put out a big ass update. It's like 5 pages of like pictures, people working in factories putting this shit together.
Look at that. I think
Yeah.
I think it's the same owner, man. That looks very similar to the newsletter I got. the
It
other
kind of
day.
looks like it. Yeah, I mean they've got some nice looking shots. Looks exactly like what they described.
Yeah, they got some. I think there's a watermark on there. Is that something from? They get that from like some iStock photo website or something. Chinese factory. Can we get like some really busy people working in a factory?
Yeah,
please?
exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have some products here that actually look maybe legit. So I still haven't backed it, but something I'm very interested in now. But they've pushed shipping to March 2020. So
Ooh.
just like the spin, they
Burn.
just can't get the product out the door.
Well, your cat's gonna have to hold it for just a little longer.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's
Gonna have to
too
use
bad.
the old school cat box for a while longer.
That's right.
Yeah,
You just gotta train your cat how to use the toilet.
that would be
Oh,
amazing.
That's like Fockers,
The Fockers, man.
Is
Cat
it
just goes in, takes a
Meet the
shit.
Fockers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Jinx.
Yeah,
They milk him too, don't they?
you can milk anything with nipples.
That's right. Right. Hey, Greg, can you milk me?
All right, let's move on. All right,
Do we have to change the rating of the show if we stay on that topic for much
No,
longer?
we got an R rating, so we're good.
We got a lot to talk
We can
about.
talk about whatever we want, really.
Excellent.
I just don't know how long people will stick around.
Yeah, that's right. Is
Uh,
Kim on the show? Kim, say hi if you're here, please.
Oh, Kim.
Please move it along. I have a great plan for Kim. She has no idea what's coming.
Oh, well,
Because it's her birthday today.
Today
Yes.
is. But, birthdays don't have to just be one day. And so,
as we've experienced.
as I experienced receiving my gift a few days late,
Yeah.
Kim might have a gift coming her way too. Oh, it's gonna be great.
All right. So yeah, you went on a hiking solo trip. Before the last episode was right before Christmas. We talked about our
did.
Christmas plans.
Yeah.
You went and you actually did it. You did the hiking solo trip. How'd it go?
I went bonkers at REI and online. I took advantage of Black Friday and I bought a bunch of equipment. I used to do backpacking and camping when I was younger, 20 years ago, a long time ago. And so I'm not it's not completely foreign to me, but it's been a while. And so I did. I flew to Vegas. I checked my pack, 40-pound pack, fully loaded with like dehydrated food and all the kitchen, stove, clothes, sleeping bag, tent, all that shit, trekking poles. Flew it down to Vegas, went down there, rented a car, drove up into southwestern Utah and hit up the Mighty Five parks. So I spent 3 days in Zion National Park and made my way east to Arches National Park, and I spent a few days there as well. And it was a great trip. I mean, it was not all good. It was a workout. I did some backpacking and some, was in the backcountry for a little while, and I haven't trained for this or anything. Didn't train for anything, just showed up, and I had a great time. I had a really nice time. So 6 days out there, 1,000 miles in the car, probably like 20 or 30 miles hiking, camping. It was good, like around 4,000 feet.
That's amazing.
Hey, Kim. How
Oh, she is here after all.
you doing? Yeah.
She's not going to be saying that's amazing when she gets to it. It's coming her way pretty soon.
Very good.
But I'm glad we captured that highlight because it's going to be a while before she feels that way. Kim punked me with the Papa Shot for my birthday.
That's right. Pop a shot in your office.
So I have some ideas.
Is that the worst prank you've gotten for your birthday?
That was
I
pretty
got
bad.
one that probably tops that.
Ooh, I want to hear about this.
Kim would like to hear this too, actually.
Yeah.
So you got to share this.
All right, so for my 17th birthday, my family was like, all right, we're going out for frozen yogurt. And I was like,
Froyo.
really? Yeah, froyo. I was so against it. I was like, nah, I don't want to go. My mom was like super insistent. So we go out for frozen yogurt, and then we pull back up to our house. And I had a white Jeep Cherokee Sport,
Nice.
98, so like the old box style. And I pull up and I see two people in my car. And so we're pulling up, the car's still moving, and I jump out of the car because I think someone's trying to steal my car. And sure enough, it's my two best friends filling the inside with packing peanuts
Oh,
to the
fuck.
top.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So I drove it to school like that the next day.
Nice.
Did you roll down the windows? It's just like blowing everywhere. Oh, my God, dude. That had to be such a mess to clean that up.
Oh, it took like 4 hours.
Fuck.
Yes.
Did you ever get him back?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What was retribution?
Yeah.
I filled probably 8 bags full of the packing peanuts, and luckily they left their cars unlocked. So I
That
put
is
it
amazing.
back in their car.
That's,
Very good.
That's a good one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the pain in the ass prank because, yeah, like, first of all, you can't get to any of your shit because it's buried, and then you're just going to make a mess no matter where you go.
Right. Even my brother drove that car, and he was still finding packing peanuts or remnants of it.
Like long after the prank happened.
Oh, yeah. Like probably 3 or 4 years after it.
Those bastards. That's how I feel right now. That's why there's going to be some good pranking coming along here. It's
I'm
very
excited to see this.
good. Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
be good. I talked to you about it a little earlier.
Yeah.
Do you approve, by the way?
I approve. I think it'll be great.
You know what's going to be really sad for you, though? I feel bad because you were involved in both of them now.
I know. So now I feel like I'm a target.
I mean, I'm not targeting you, but she might. I don't know.
I'll just have to make my birthday be unknown.
Well,
Brian can't send the update.
I might be able to help with that, but, you know.
Yeah.
Very good. So anyway, prank. We got some birthday pranks coming along. The time in Utah was fantastic. I love it. It made me realize how much I miss being outdoors. And you and I have talked. It's been really fun. Here's the cool part about it. So it was a good trip for me. I was at elevation. I slept, in cold temps. It was like 18 degrees one night up there. Mostly 40 degrees, 50 degrees, but it spurred a lot of conversation now. So I've talked to like no fewer than like 3 or 4 people that heard about the trip that are now like, hey, why don't we do this trip? Why don't we go for this hike or this backpacking trip or this camping trip?
Well, I was just going to say, we got 6 acres of woods about 45 minutes from here. So if you're ever out here in
Really?
the summer.
Really?
Yeah, that's where we went for my brother's bachelor party. And his friend brought ATVs. So we were just running up and down the mountain on ATVs,
I love that.
heavily drinking.
I mean, I could adjust to that if I had to, I guess. That's not really part of my MO, but,
Oh,
I support that shit.
yeah.
But good time.
I love it. No, that's cool, man. But exactly like that, just bringing it up in conversation has spurred a lot of other discussion about people that want to go or haven't gone in a while and would like a partner or something like that. And so, boom. Coffee and Codecast is now the Coffee Code and Recreation Cast. And we'll be talking more about our outdoor adventures coming
Yeah.
forward here.
Yeah, it's been more than just hiking, too, or backpacking, right? We had a fishing opportunity earlier today, too.
At lunch, we talked about salmon fishing
Fly fishing,
and fly fishing
Yeah.
in Alaska.
right? So, yeah,
I'm game.
it's opened up a lot of interesting opportunities, which has been really interesting, right?
I love it. It's nice to change it up a little bit and have something new. New year, new resolutions, all that stuff. I'm not really big on that, but I have a lot of new ideas, and I think that was a fun trip. So we just need to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah, and
Awesome,
we're willing to do anything. Like we've talked a little bit about hiking, and kind of our style is pretty low key, and just hike in, sit, kind of have a fire, maybe do some journaling, chill out, have coffee, whatever. Like it's not, we're not like super gung ho about it. We don't want to go
Yes.
hike 7,000 feet of elevation or something like that. That's not enjoyable, really.
Yeah.
As you found out.
Yeah.
Do you want to bike 50 miles up and down a mountain?
Absolutely not.
My brother managed to talk me into doing this July.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a Courage Classic. It's put on by Children's Hospital, so the money raised for it goes to Children's Hospital. And it's 21 miles up Vail Pass and 20-something down.
And do you know the elevation increase?
I'm too scared to look.
Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in that.
No, me neither. Yeah.
I've done some single track previously, but I've never done anything like that technical or that with that kind of altitude behind it either.
I haven't either, so this will be interesting.
Well, we're gonna definitely have to have you back for a follow up on that one. I'd like to see.
Well, and be sure to do it like Mike does, and don't train at all for it. Just hike 4,000 feet.
It's actually easier. Yeah, that first trip was a 15 miler round out and back, and it was total
Yeah.
7.5 each way, and like 4,000 feet within the first few miles. It was pretty intense.
That's a big climb.
It was a big climb. Oh, look who joined us here.
Oh, Kim.
Kim Lockhart. Birthday girl. Do we have any happy birthday music? Probably not.
No, I don't. I can play that.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. Thanks, Slayer.
Or we could play maybe a little of that.
Yeah, exactly. Happy birthday. Very excited. There's no argument to be made here. She goes, it could be argued that you started it. There's no argument. I didn't start anything.
You didn't know you didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know how you started
I
anything.
did nothing.
Right.
I am innocent. I was the victim in this whole thing. And I got a good plan.
Good.
Let's move it along here.
Let's move on to
Oh.
airline status.
Can't give away too much here.
We talk about airline status a lot on this show.
Better lock your desk up this weekend. Though. Just say that. Airline status. Yeah.
I made Delta Gold again for 2020.
Fuck, man. I am a lowly silver.
I'm not even ranked.
It doesn't make much of a difference. We're pretty much in the same boat here.
Basically,
enough.
yeah. But you did get a first class upgrade on the way out here to Denver.
I got lucky.
Yeah.
Nobody flew first class on the way out, so I was splitting my miles between both and yada yada. But you're gold. Like, how did you hit gold? You did international travel last year.
We did do a little international. We get a lot of it through spend, honestly. We put every damn thing we spend on our credit card,
Yep.
and you get MQMs for spending certain limits. So that's where we get a lot of our MQM miles, and that's one of the requirements, and then spend is the other. So we're able to make it through that.
It's a pretty cool deal. I have to admit, like, trying to navigate the waters between Delta and Alaska has been difficult for me because they all have very different rules. So, for example, I flew a few trips where I use miles plus money. That works on Alaska, does not work on Delta. So I had a few flights where I thought I was going to get a few thousand miles. I got 0. And so that didn't help my status at all. Boo.
We flew Delta for the Quote Wizard Christmas
Yeah.
party. Absolutely loved it. And then we went up to Canada for New Year's and flew Southwest. And boy, was there a difference. 'Cause I always thought like Southwest was a pretty decent airline.
Yeah.
And then Delta by far is my top favorite.
I heard some people making that remark in the airport here at Denver. We were in the lounge. Were we in the lounge here?
In Denver? Why would we be here in the lounge?
Well, when I fly, I go to the lounge on both sides. You got to take advantage, man.
Okay.
Everything's free on both sides of the deal, man. It
It
doesn't
is.
matter whether you're coming or going.
I just have shit to do.
Yeah, well, I do too, but I can wait.
All right.
But I heard the same remark from some folks who were saying, boy, like we loved our Southwest, blah, blah, blah. And then we got on Delta, and holy shit, we didn't know we were like boarding the cattle car until we did that. It's just a very different experience.
Very different.
Yeah. It's been a while for me. I can't relate to that, but Delta Alaska for me, splitting between the two, and now my statuses have been diminished down to plebe level, as you put it.
That's right. I was hoping on the flight out here, like I got upgraded to first class. You got upgraded like last minute.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to just watch him kind of like do the walk of shame as he walked
Yeah.
by. But nope, you got the
Nope.
first class upgrade.
I got fucking upgraded. I had a
Yeah.
fucking sausage platter on my flight out here. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. So you should get the Delta Gold card or Reserve card or whatever it is you want.
Reserve, platinum,
They got a bunch of them.
gold,
Silver,
silver,
I think. Yeah.
business. They've changed all that up. We don't have to get into all the minutia of that, but they have new perks coming in 2020 if you're a Delta card holder. And
that's right.
You get some, depending on which card you have and all of that, you get some new things. They take away a few things, but I think it's a net positive overall. Among the benefits, you get access to the Centurion Club,
Centurion Lounge, which
Yeah.
is like Amex's
the Amex Lounge.
specific lounge. Yeah.
Which is good for certain cities that don't have a Delta lounge. I was in Vegas on the second half of my trip, and they don't have a Delta lounge.
Right.
And so I had to pay for my food and drink.
Oh, man.
It was pretty rough. But if I had the benefit that I'll have this year, I could go into the Centurion Lounge and hang out there.
I mean, you definitely paid for it regardless.
Yeah, you do pay for it regardless. It doesn't fucking matter, dude. That's true.
Do you guys follow like Denver's news at all? Probably not. Did you
I
hear
do
about
from
those?
time to time.
Did you hear about those like thousands of drones that are like in eastern Colorado and they don't know who's flying them?
No.
I did not.
No,
know
they're
that.
there's like thousands of drones, and it's freaky because when we were flying back from Canada, you know, we came in from Detroit in eastern Colorado, and I had a window seat, and I looked out, and you just see thousands and thousands of red lights just flashing.
And were they pretty close to the aircraft, or were like?
I mean,
where was it? Wasn't
no.
gonna hit it, but it was close.
I mean, this was when we were about ready to land, so I mean we were descending, but it was weird because even like as you're going 10 minutes, you're still seeing all these drones.
Wow.
And they're like up in Nebraska now.
And they're just like hovering. They're not doing anything or making any kind of weird lighting displays or anything like that. Just sitting there.
Well, they're just sitting there and flashing red in unison.
Huh.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I didn't hear that particular story, but I had seen a demonstration recently that some school was trying to demonstrate that, look, like these things can cause some serious harm to aircraft. And they had a demonstration where they took a small drone and had it in the right position with the wing, and it actually punctured the wing. Like it went right through.
Oh, wow.
It destroyed the wing, it destroyed the drone, but still, it was able to puncture a hole through it, and you don't know, like, could that get into the fuel? Could that cause a crash? I don't know, but it's a big fucking problem now.
Yeah, like that's a whole, like the governor here's investigating it. Apparently, like the military's been contacted. Nobody knows who's flying these drones.
Yeah, I see the good old Gomer here. Speed tape, good to go. He says.
Speed tape? What's that?
That's something that you stick on. It's like metal tape, I think, like almost like the aluminum duct tape or whatever that you use for vents.
Oh, yes. It's like the real hardcore shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Slice you right up.
Hey,
He says he'll sign that off.
He'll sign that off. We got the approval.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
I want to give a quick shout out to my homeboy Andy Steeper if he's still online. Say hi, Andy. But Nebraska, representing Columbus,
Nice.
Nebraska.
Welcome to the show.
Good
We're
friend of
talking about
mine.
Nebraska right now.
We're
Drones.
talking about drones in Nebraska.
That's right.
And also, he's a big Nuggets fan, and we're here in Denver live from Studio 4A in the Quote Wizard offices. What neighborhood is this technically? It's downtown, but is it? We're not in Rhino, right? We're kinda
No,
like-
this is Lodo.
It's Lodo. We're in Lodo.
It technically maybe even ballpark since we're next to the stadium.
Yeah, like we could throw a ball at Coors Field from here.
Literally, yeah.
Coors Field, yeah.
Walk right by it every morning.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right by the dairy block.
The dairy block.
All the good shit over here.
Yeah. It's
Very
great.
nice.
It's a great area, great location.
Yeah.
A lot of development going on here too, so
That's right.
it seems to be up and coming.
And they have scooters, which I would love to see in Seattle.
No.
No, they're-
I listen. I've had this experience when I was in fucking San Francisco, and I loved it. Now, most people hated it.
I mean, I think for you, since you don't own a car, it makes sense.
Yes, I don't. I love it.
But for the majority of us, they're such a pain in the ass.
That's okay. We should still do it.
I agree. I'm on board.
Well, it is a problem. People just like have no consideration for where to park them. Right? They just go everywhere, and they drive on the fucking roads, and they go 15 miles an hour.
That's because they've changed the laws. Like at first, when they
Can't be
came
on the
out,
sidewalk.
when they first came out, you were supposed to drive them on the sidewalk, and then people were getting hit, and then they changed it to the street. So now you have both because people don't know which law to follow.
I mean, I already drive on the road with my bike and piss drivers off, so I'm happy to do it with scooters. I don't care.
You ever drive on the sidewalk with your Tesla?
What?
I don't know. Since everybody's kind of changing it up, I just thought you feel pretty baller behind the wheel. Like,
I mean, that'd be fun, I guess. I don't.
I'm just making shit up now.
Nobody would know you're coming.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
wouldn't hear it.
Right.
Silent but deadly. Look
Yeah.
out.
All right, let's move on. We got a little bit. I mean, some of this is already pretty obvious. We got some new gear for the show. We have multi-angle video here. So
Multi-angle video. Thank you for bringing your camera gear out here. I appreciate
That's
it.
right. We got 2 cams. We can switch angles.
Yeah.
So that's new. We got 4 mics. So the last episode we did with Rain and Connor. We only had 1 mic to share between them. We now have 4. So we'll bring them back on the show.
Yeah.
And
Did that recording ever make it out yet? Or are you still working on that? Or?
Yeah, it's out there. What the episode is called? Christmas corn and something.
Oh, that's the one. The
Yeah.
casserole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now. I didn't listen to the post. I didn't listen to it when you posted it. Like, was there some audio issues there not having the 4th mic?
Corn pie and Christmas corn. No, it's it actually sounded pretty good, to be real honest.
We
There was
cranked up the volume a little
Right.
bit.
There was a couple times where you could tell that they were kind of backing off a little bit, but it still
Yeah.
picked it up a little bit.
That's good.
So, yeah, we got to get them right on the mic, man. You got to be that close.
You got to kiss the mic. That's what I
That's
tell
right.
everybody. Just get up there and kiss the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good.
Well, let's save the next item and let's move on to the news, shall we?
We're not going to talk about that. Let's move along. White Claw.
There you go. Do you need a refill? Do you need a refill? You got a couple over there.
I got a spare right here in case anybody needs it.
Of course you do.
I gotta
Well done,
drive.
dude. All right.
I was
Well,
a
I
Boy
mean,
Scout. You got to be prepared, man. That's the motto.
This is a long show. We're gonna be here. We're gonna be here a while.
Is this going to be the extended edition, like an hour and a half?
Yes.
Oh, see,
We could. I mean, we got Pup here. Where'd he go?
Over here.
Oh, he's
he's
back
behind
there.
the. Yeah.
He's wedging his
He wants a little more
face in the
comfort.
corner.
Yeah, he's such a cute doggy. Love that.
Very good. What do we got here in the news? We got Impossible Meats. We've talked about Impossible Meats a bunch of times on the show.
Right now, Impossible and their competitor Beyond. Beyond's blowing up as well. I'm not going to get into the story. I'm going to say that for you. But their stock, Beyond stock went up, hit a 52-week high today. No, it wasn't 52-week high. It was a year high. Because they were up to 150 at one point, and then they came back down. And then today, they were back up to like $85.
Do you have the stock on the old Robinhood?
I do, on the Robinhood, yeah. Robinhood app. I don't own the stock. I didn't make that move on my Q4 challenge with my buddies, but I'm watching it now because it had a really good run the last few weeks.
Well, yeah, we've done Impossible on the show. We had the Impossible Whopper.
We did the taste test.
We did the taste test, right, between the regular Whopper and the Impossible Whopper. Neither of us really, I mean, side by side, maybe we could tell the difference, right? But
If you didn't know what you're getting into, you probably couldn't tell.
I agree. Yeah, you would never know.
Yeah. Have you tried it yet?
Not from Burger King. There's a bar up in Frederick that had the Impossible Burger, and Carissa ordered it. So I had a bite. Tastes like meat, which I was impressed.
I thought you were going to say it tastes like chicken for a second there.
No. Tastes like beef.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like chicken. It tastes like beef, yeah.
What's Carissa think?
She thought it was good.
Yeah?
You know, she orders these veggie patties that taste like chicken, so I'm sure we have those in our freezer.
Yeah.
And I've had those a couple times. They're pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I've had a couple different varieties now outside of even Burger King, and all of them have seemed fine. I haven't had any complaints. The only time that I've had one that was kind of not great was when they sell it in just like a package, like at the grocery store. Like you can get like ground beef.
Wow.
You can get the Impossible Meat product as well, and like fry it up and put it in whatever.
Yeah.
That definitely doesn't work quite as well.
Not as good.
Yeah, I think.
Now, let me ask you this. Being from the Northwest, and it's probably more prevalent around other parts of the country now, but if you were having a party, hosting a party, and you had someone who was coming over who was vegetarian, would you choose field roast over the Impossible, or would you still go field roast?
Boy, I don't know. That's a good question.
Because
would you offend them? That's the question.
I don't think it would be offensive. I mean, I've done this before for people that I know, like my sister-in-law, for example. Like, she's vegetarian, and she's not. I mean, she will be polite, and if that's the only option, like, she'll, maybe you do that. But otherwise, I try to have something, and I've done a lot of people I know. Like, I've done the field roast. They make sausages, patties, that sort of thing. The sausages aren't too bad. It's just not. It's not trying to mimic meat. It's just like an alternative way that you can do it. But I think with Impossible, I guess it depends on the dish. If you had the right dish, I might go Impossible.
It depends on, too, what you're seasoning it with, right? Because I think the meat just takes the flavor of whatever it is that you're surrounding it with for the most part. And so I think depending upon what it is you're making, that might make the determination for you, to me. But
Interesting.
yeah. Well, Impossible has now there is Impossible Pork. So before it was all beef patties. Now you
Well,
can get
they've done it
Impossible
again.
Pork. Yeah. Now you can have your breakfast sandwich,
I love that.
meatless breakfast sandwich.
That's what I like, is a meatless breakfast sando.
Yeah.
Personally.
Is that right?
I like that.
All right.
Sure.
What does that consist of?
Usually no meat, just like cheese and stuff.
Good answer.
It's a lot better than what I had at the goddamn Airstream yesterday for breakfast, I'll tell you that much.
Hey, I just told you it was available. I didn't tell you to buy it.
Christina has a good point. Some vegetarians don't want a meat product or a meat-like product. They don't want fake meat. They just want a vegetable option.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was saying, like, would you offend them?
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't think that was offensive.
Everyone's offended by everything these
It's
days.
true.
That is true. I shouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised by that. But, like, I would think I'm trying to be considerate. Like, look, if someone's coming over to my house and I know ahead of time that they're vegetarian, then I would like to offer a vegetarian option. And I guess it depends on what it is. Like, it doesn't have to be meat. Like, I'm not trying to make sure there's a meat equivalent of everything, but I don't know. Like, I like field roast. I'll have some field roast there available, maybe.
Sounds like you need to go with, how do you pronounce it? Is it seitan or something like that.
Seitan.
Seitan, yeah, I don't know.
Satan.
Got some Satan over
Yeah.
here for everybody.
Yeah, get
Some
a little bit
soy.
of that.
You know, but there's a lot of, like, for example, Mexican dishes that you can get that are not that would be vegetarian, and they have nothing to do with meat products. It's not like a patty or a burger or something like that.
Like a
But-
cheese enchilada.
Yeah, cheese enchilada, or you could have like cowboy dip, right? Like shit like that. That has nothing to do with meat.
Oh, you guys aren't gonna have time to go to the Elkhorn Exchange.
We were talking about this earlier tonight.
Oh, the
Buffalo testicles beer.
Rocky
is it
Mountain
the
oyster.
Buckhorn Exchange. right?
Yeah.
I called it the claim jumper when we were hanging out.
You did it on the show too,
Tom-
actually.
I did.
Yeah.
Tom Nash is gonna think I'm just full of shit because we were talking to him at happy hour.
Was he
and I
going to go there after the?
And I was
after-
like, the claim jumper, and he's like, yeah. It's like, no, it's not the claim. It's like a steakhouse, isn't it? God damn it. The Buckhorn Exchange. Yeah.
how far is that away from here?
It's on the light rail. Like
Yeah. I think you get off on either Evans or Osage.
yeah.
It's like right next to it.
It's not too far, but it's gonna be past
South.
Pepsi Center, a couple stops.
Yeah, I think it's the stop after Broadway.
Okay.
I wanted to get our good buddy the Rainmaker a crowler from there, but he indicated to me that they don't give you anything to go.
Really?
That's what he said.
What if you order a bunch of Rocky Mountain oysters and you can't finish them all?
No, I mean the beer, man.
Oh, the beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
A crowler, buddy.
Yeah, but I thought like you were saying they couldn't get you anything to go.
Oh,
All right.
I mean, if you wanna fly him back some Rocky Mountain oysters, feel free. I'm not gonna.
What if I brought back some meatballs for the game on Sunday?
Yeah, don't worry, man. It's impossible pork here. Don't.
It's a little chewy, but don't worry about it, man.
Why are
It's
they
really
so
good.
stringy?
Yeah. It's a new take. Impossible fucking Rocky Mountain oysters, dude. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, point taken. So, like, I get this. I get what Christina's saying, and I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to. I guess it's just a matter of perspective. Like, you know, you don't have to have a meat for a meatless for every meat product, right? Like, you can have a variety of things, but depending on what it is, maybe you like to have, I don't know, a little field roast. If all I had was burgers and buns, then maybe I want to have an Impossible patty.
I mean, we had a friend that just moved out of town, and he is a vegetarian, and he would just raw vegetables, man. Like he would just like take a bucket of salad and just start eating it. You know, no salad dressing, no anything. That's just how he rolled.
There you go.
In fact, the first time I met him, we went to his place, and he had a poker party.
Yeah.
And an entry to the poker party, you had to bring a vegetable, and that's what you bet in is
No
vegetables.
shit.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
it's interesting. He would even bite like citrus, so he would just like straight into the rind of like a lemon and eat it.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Have you tried biting into the rind of a lemon before?
No, I have not.
I mean, we could do that on the show.
Yeah, probably a couple of lemons in
We
the
got
fridge
any
over there.
lemons around here?
Jump in there real quick. Survey said he was up for anything today, so we'll try it
Exactly. Yeah.
out. I have one very brief. I know we have to move on, but a very brief story. Like, as far as offending somebody, I did that once when I first moved to Seattle.
Oh, really? I can't imagine.
Only one. Only once. No, around the topic of like meat and veggie.
Okay.
Like, it was Lauren was hosting. She was working at the Snoqualmie Valley Hospital, and she was hosting some kind of summer barbecue for the staff. And it wasn't really planned out very well. It was kind of a last minute thing we threw together, and we had like some park. The facilities were very primitive, right? Like, it was like some park, pavilion that had like one tiny fucking grill that barely had enough room for, 4 sausages on it, let alone food for 15, 20 people. And I was recruited as the grill master for this event. And so we knew that there were some vegetarians among us. And so we had, like, at that time, we just had the regular, like, bean patties in addition to regular
Yeah,
patties.
black bean patties. Right?
Yeah, that's kind of the staple, like, vegetarian patty.
Good friend Boley eats a lot of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all we had. And so the faux pas that I committed, being new from Nebraska, where, like, everything's just beef, I was using the same spatula to flip.
Oh, you tainted it.
And there was a couple that was really upset about that.
I
You
can
get the
imagine.
beef
yeah.
juice on the vegetables.
Yeah, I didn't have, like, separate utensils. By the way, I didn't even have a second spatula to fucking use if I wanted to. I just had one spatula.
You have to use your hand.
Well, they probably wouldn't have liked that either. I don't know what would be worse, my hand or the meat spatula. But yeah, so, you have to be very cognizant of these things, depending on where you're at and who you're dealing with. And I learned a lot that day.
Yeah. Can't share pans, can't share utensils.
Yeah, it's got to be totally separate.
Yeah.
Like, and that's very interesting in the food service industry because
just
that's a
gonna
big
say-
expense, right?
I worked as a cook at a couple restaurants, and if someone ordered a gluten-free option, you'd have to wipe everything down, clear that part of the grill, and make sure no wheat.
Before you prepared that food, that's a big process.
It is, so it ends up being more pain. The other thing that people don't think about too is with frying things. Like you ask for, say you have fried fish,
Yeah.
and then you want grilled fish, or the French fries that come with it, or they're still going to be in the same bucket of oil
Right.
that's mixed with the batter. So you're not gonna.
You can't guarantee
Yeah,
separation of any
exactly.
kind there, or
I mean, you're not going to change the oil.
Have you ever had to clean the fryer?
No, thankfully I have not.
how often does that happen? Does that actually happen?
Depending on where. Like when I was a student cook my freshman year of college at UNC, it was done once a week.
Okay, that's not bad.
I worked at a pizza place, and we had to clean the oven from time to time, and that was pretty gross all by itself. I can't imagine an oil fryer.
No, I couldn't
Yeah.
either. Is that stuff just pretty dark at the end of the week?
It's dark, and luckily, like there's a built-in machine that just kind of like filters that. So you turn the machine on, and it's just cycling the oil through. And once you get all the crusties off, you just wipe it down and then fill it up with fresh oil.
No. The things you learn. I mean, this is why you come to the Coffee Codecast.
That's
If you want a
exactly
good
right.
education
Yeah.
on things like fryer oil,
Yeah,
you come here.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's
You
very
learn something new every time you listen to the cast, man.
I do.
Yeah. That's why we do it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that. It's
Yeah.
interesting, man. But it's a good point. I mean, that's the first thing I thought about when it comes to, because there was an announcement in the news recently that McDonald's now is going to carry they're doing Beyond, I think, right? Or are they doing Impossible? I think
That would
they're-
make sense because if Burger King's doing Impossible, then I would assume they're going to be the competitor, right?
I think it's Beyond, and they just made an announcement that they were going to launch into like Canada at like 53 locations on a trial
Wow.
today, and that was the reason why Beyond spiked this morning on the stocks. Actually,
I thought there was some pretty poor news about Beyond in terms of like health quality. Like, you know, even despite its claims that it might be the healthier thing to eat than real meat, that maybe, I think we've talked about this before a little bit, but it's not nearly as healthy as people might want to think.
I did hear that there was like 1,000 times more estrogen in
That was it.
these meatless patties.
Yep.
I guess it depends on who you are. If you want more estrogen, that's probably a good deal, and if you don't, then maybe not.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's unproven, right? It's new.
Right.
We don't know a lot about it other than the anecdotal taste test that we did. It can grow in a lab.
It's the fear of the unknown.
There's a lot of unknowns here. I mean, it's kind of like Juul. I mean, Juul when it came out was like the safe way to smoke,
Right.
and it only took a few years to turn that upside down.
I have a couple friends that own vape shops, and they've had to close it just because the market's gone down from it completely.
Wow. Already. I mean, that was a pretty quick.
That was like
In and
within 3 months.
Wow. I like Juul. I didn't own one, but I smoked a Juul a few times.
Yeah, you were pretty. When they started talking about banning some of that stuff, you got pretty fired up about that.
A little bit.
I vaped for 2.5 years.
Wow. Did you have any side effects or anything? Yeah. Yeah. You seem fine. You seem like a healthy young man.
I'm try. Just gotta get rid of the dad bod, but
No, the dad bod's good, man. When you get older, at your age, probably not good. But like when you get to our age, everybody likes the man bod, or the dad bod. Dad bod.
Who?
I think it's more in favor
Sound
of
like
the
a hoot
ladies.
owl. Who?
Hoo-hoo. I think it's more in favor of the ladies the older you get.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, there's a difference between dad bod. I keep calling it man bod. It's definitely not a man bod. It's it could be dad bod.
Yeah.
And
Christina, you can chime in. Do you enjoy the dad bod?
do you have a dad bod?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
Let's move on, dude.
We'll see what she says.
Yeah.
Let us know in the notes.
Yeah.
go to coffeecodecast/review and let us know what you think about the
dad
dad
bod.
bod.
Yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
That's right.
hashtag dad bod.
Hashtag
Yeah.
dad bod.
That's right.
All right.
We got Tesla news.
Fucking shit, we do.
Better leave that going for a while.
I don't have to tell myself anything, Christina. Like I know that I have some work to do, but I think that not everybody has to have a six pack. Like some ladies like a little bit in between there.
Hey.
How
Yeah.
about that?
Everybody likes different things, right?
God damn it. She was the wrong person to ask for this question too.
I mean, we could call up the Rifkin and see if she has any comments.
Tell us about your Tesla news.
All right, Tesla news. We've been holding on to this for a long time, so this is old news. But there's a firmware update, pretty awesome firmware update. So you all know about autopilot, so it can basically drive itself, right?
Very cool.
One of the biggest problems with autopilot is it didn't really take into it didn't care about like what the lanes next to you were doing. So it would just kind of continue at 60 miles an hour or whatever you set the speed to, regardless of if the lane next to you is stopped
Yeah.
or slow. So it was super risky, right? Like if you're driving that fast past stop traffic, you're kind of worried about somebody merging into your lane or something like that.
She's such a smart ass.
What's going on?
Well, she didn't say anything else. I'm still chewing on that.
You're still a little upset.
I'm fine.
All right, keep stewing over there.
What about lane changes again?
Yeah. So it'll now take into its algorithm or whatever you want to say how fast the lanes next to you are going. So if you're going 60 and the lane is stopped next to you, maybe it'll drop the speed down to 30 automatically or something like that to keep you a little bit more safe. Be able to react correctly and appropriately, which is pretty cool. Haven't experienced that myself, but it's supposed to be in the update that is on the car. Other ones that came in is automatic wiper improvements, which that's probably the biggest complaint I have about the car. Like the automatic detection of rain is not very good. It'll run the wipers for minutes after like the last drop, so it's just like dragging,
Squeaking a little bit.
Yeah. So
Doling those blades out.
yeah, exactly, making them crap. So supposedly they're improved. I've read pretty negative reviews even after this update that it's just as bad or worse. So I don't think they fixed that. And then errors on if like the cameras become blocked in any way. So like if you go through a mud puddle or something and the cameras can no longer see, it'll give you a warning of which camera it is that can't see any longer. And whereas
That's
before
nice.
it would just kind of tell you like reduced visibility or reduced capabilities of cameras or something like that. That was very generic. So a couple of nice things. The other really big Tesla news, and I'm curious to see your guys' thoughts about this, is the Tesla Cybertruck reveal. That was actually quite a while ago at this point. But they released a truck. Well, they didn't release it. They revealed the truck.
We
and
didn't
it's
talk about that?
We've never talked about this. You keep punting.
Sorry about that.
I don't think you're sorry, though.
Sorry, not sorry.
All right. But you want to talk about the Cybertruck, right? You have opinion on the Cybertruck.
Yeah, it's fucking ugly.
It's ugly.
Agreed.
You agree ugly? You live in the area that this would be like useful, right? Like if people around here have trucks.
I can't imagine spending $90,000 on a truck and taking that off-roading.
Right?
Like, especially with some of the trails up here, like I want to see someone lift that truck and put like the big tires on it.
Oh, wow.
But did you watch the reveal?
I saw highlights of it when he tried to the windshield
Break the window
Yeah.
or not break the window?
Yeah.
That was a bad
Yeah,
demo.
that was a
rough
bad
day.
demo.
Yeah.
But like the truck itself can raise and lower on its own.
Jeeps do that. Grand Cherokees.
Do they already?
Yeah, they have like a dial in them, and it'll determine the traction. So if you're on out here snow or mud or rock, and then they have to lift.
Okay. Because yeah, the whole point that they kept making was like if you're just driving on a freeway or something, you can like lower it down to get better aerodynamics. But if you're doing some kind of crazy rock climbing or who knows what, like you can lift it up quite a bit and get some clearance.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, the thing that you referred to earlier, they have these, I don't know what they claim. Do you remember what the glass was called? It's like unbreakable glass or some stupid gimmicky name.
Didn't he say that was the same glass either on the shingles or
Oh, that would make sense.
the
The solar panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, he was touting that this glass was unbreakable, and to prove their point, they decided they would throw, I don't know what they're throwing, some kind
Ball
of
bearings.
big ball. Yeah,
Big balls made of metal.
big balls at the window. And the first hit broke the window pretty easily, it looked like.
Well, the only thing I heard about that was they started with a sledgehammer first.
Against the panel of the truck, not the window.
Yeah, correct. But it's still possibly could have, done something to the molecular structure of the window. I don't know.
I had read that too, that maybe it compromised the window before they threw it. Maybe a little less viable of an option though, because they ended up throwing it at the front passenger side window, and then I think they threw it at the back one.
It's still
And the back
shattered.
one wasn't hit. So Yeah, I don't know how that would make sense. But they did show some other demos even before he threw it at the vehicle itself. Like they were showing demos where they were dropping balls from, I don't know, 30 feet and hitting like a pane of glass that was just kind of sitting there, and it handled that. So there may be something to what he was saying, but it was kind of funny to watch a demo like that. And then the other thing is like it sat up on the stage the whole time with broken windows, and this is like your massive reveal of this fancy ass truck.
Did you see that video? I don't know if it went viral, but I watched this video last week of a Tesla dash camera driving down the highway, and this hammer, I don't know if it like fell off a truck and it like flung up, and you just see it coming straight towards the glass.
I did see I saw the still. I didn't ever see the video or anything, but yeah, it looked really freaky. It was cool. I just turned on a funny function too of the car the other day, similar to that. Now if you honk the horn of the car, it'll automatically save the clip from like all the cameras.
Oh, good.
So
That's
like,
really cool, actually.
It's great, but my wife's gonna fill up the memory card in like no time flat.
Fuck you. Can we get the audio on the inside of the car too?
Yeah,
when
we
that
should.
happens?
That happened actually the other day. Like as soon as I turned it on, there was I can't remember the exact instance, but I was like, oh, we can collect that video if we want.
So you used to do the like end of the year, like the video, the
Yeah.
year in review.
Yep.
Did you do one last year?
I haven't done one in the last probably 2 years.
Oh shit, I always liked those.
They were fun. I just don't feel like I have the time for them anymore.
Could you just get a sample of all the clips of Christina driving the car?
Supposedly, I don't know if it captures the interior. There is a camera on the interior as well, but that would be great if we could get the audio.
We need
and
the
video
audio.
of the interior.
We need the audio. We need the video of the interior,
Yeah.
particularly from the driver's seat, and all the exterior cameras. I don't really care about that, but I just want to see like, oh, this is awesome.
You're just waiting for the comment to come through, aren't you?
It did, and it's not that bad. She's just like, hey, the pedestrian jumped out in front of me. They were a dumbass. No doubt they were a dumbass, but I just want to see your reaction to the dumbass crossing the street. That would make my day. If I could get one video of Christina in 2020 driving a Tesla honking the horn, dude. That would be like my screensaver, man. I love it.
We can work on that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, very good.
The other thing that's kind of crazy about the truck too is, at least in the concept that they showed on the stage, it didn't have any side mirrors.
Oh,
So
monitors only? Or
supposedly, yeah. The only way that it's going to show you mirrors is via the screen on the inside of the car. The rearview mirror also of that truck, because you can't see from the front to the back,
yeah.
like via a standard mirror. So it's actually a video camera as well, like an always-on video camera, rear view mirror, which is interesting.
The truck itself is it's what I think would have happened when Back to the Future was made. Like,
Kind of, yeah.
it's like go back to 1985, whatever, 84, 82, whatever year it was, and conceptualize what a pickup truck would be in 2020, and that would be something they would come up with. Hard edges, stainless steel. It's like the DeLorean in a truck fashion.
It does, yeah. It does look like that. The thing that I thought was actually more cool than the truck was the ATV that they rolled out right at the very end. Did you see that?
That was pretty baller.
Yeah.
I saw that, yeah.
So you can load the ATV up into the truck, and the truck itself can actually charge the ATV, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
But yeah. I don't think I think our good friend Rain put down some money on the truck.
Our realtor did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there'll be some around eventually. You're gonna see them. I do like the design of like the front end and like kind of the end to end headlight. That's kind of like all the way across the front hood.
Yeah.
I think that looks really cool. But yeah, I think it's just too futuristic for me. And the other thing is like the target market that you're probably focusing on here is like Midwest type folks, right? And they're pretty traditional type people. Like this is kind of, to me, I feel like really outside the bounds of something
not
that they
very
would be
traditional.
comfortable. Yeah,
Interesting.
that's my opinion. But yeah, I will not be buying one. Will you be buying one?
I don't have a vehicle.
That's not what I asked.
Nope.
Okay. Are you going to get one?
Nope.
Are you going to get a Tesla someday?
They had a lot of pre-orders, though.
They did have a lot of pre-orders. I don't know how many they ended up with, but several 100,000, I think.
And I'm sure they did their research. I mean, there's enough people out there that are interested in this and just interested in the hype of Tesla and everything they're doing. And their stocks shot through the roof. I mean, right? Did you see that?
It's still going up. It's crazy. I shouldn't have sold. I had 2 whole shares
Dude, why'd you sell?
because it went up.
You're the biggest believer out there for
Yeah.
Tesla.
I mean, I made like $100 a share, and I was like, that's good enough.
I mean, it was like tree was stomping Tesla.
Yeah.
Treat was like 385.
I think Tesla's
Tesla
at
was
like 450 at
200,
this
and
point.
now they're up to like almost $500.
Yeah. So the truck doesn't have to be as expensive as you mentioned. I mean, you can get the single motor for about 40 grand.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be that horrible, but yeah, it can go all the way up to like 70. Well, and if you include self-driving, full self-driving, which doesn't exist, you can get up into the 70s. But yeah, pretty expensive. The wheels, I think, are hideous.
I didn't look at those. What
Look at them right there. You see that?
the hell is that? It kind of looks like plastic. Some cheap shit. I don't know.
I'm a big believer that like the rims on a car can like make or break
I'd
the
agree
car
with that.
on its own. Yep. And those are those are horrible.
I don't like that. They're all covered, black, kind of matte.
Yeah.
You can't even tell, like, from the side that there's a bed.
Yeah, that's true. I wondered about that until they loaded the ATV. I was like, how is this a truck?
Wow. Does the bed go back into the, or is that a back seat?
I think it goes right up to the back, right where the window is, and then but there's like a cover over it
Yeah.
that you can retract.
Got it.
So by default, it's always covered.
Okay.
So it has a pretty good range, 250 plus miles, pretty good towing capacity. They even showed during the demo, like they had it pulling an F-150. Like the F-150 was trying to drive the other way, one way, and the truck was trying to drive the other.
Except that it was like not a fair comparison.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I don't know the details of it. They're trying to. Yeah, they got into like details of like, I don't know, tonnage or I'm not totally certain, but
Torque and
yeah.
engine power and all that shit.
But I think the reason for the demo was the idea that the Cybertruck was supposed to be very competitive with like the Ford F-150. That was kind of always their goal because
Yeah.
that's kind of the big consumer pickup.
That's right.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think that's still a couple of years out before they actually are selling these things. Although I think they said they were moving it up slightly just because of how many orders they did get. So
Aaron Rifkin did like our video about an hour ago.
oh, from where is she? I can't remember.
She is in Thailand. I believe.
Thailand. Okay. Yeah.
Thereabouts,
Very good.
somewhere over there.
Yep.
Probably evening time. What else we got to talk about here?
We got something else that kind of came up. We can move on and out of the news and talk about an actual topic, which I don't think we've done in like probably 10 episodes.
We haven't had time for a topic in
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. And this one was kind of interesting. Oh, shit. I just got upgraded, buddy.
What?
I just got an upgrade
Fuck you.
notification.
No, you didn't. What? Did you really?
What does it say here? Experience a medallion difference with your upgrade to Comfort Plus.
No.
Have fun back there with the commoners, buddy.
Dude, I'm already in an exit row. I'm pretty upgraded. What seat what row are you in?
It's just Comfort Plus. I don't know.
I'm
I'll
in
look it up
I'm
later.
in 16A, man. I'm
All
pretty
right.
good.
I'll probably be sitting like one seat in front of you.
Oh, 10, 11, 12 is Delta Comfort on this flight.
There you go.
Fuckers.
That's great. But no, over the holidays and just before the holidays, there's been a number of conversations that have come up at the office because prior to me working with the team here in Denver, I worked on a particular product called Everest, and it was a pretty fast-paced product, and we had a lot of people on the team, and overall the satisfaction, or I think the happiness, morale, I guess if you will, of the team was pretty high.
Yeah.
Even despite putting in long hours and getting pressed and pressured pretty hard. Morale stayed pretty high. And that was something that I'm pretty proud of and something that Allie and myself were able to kind of help create.
Agreed.
And there's been a couple of instances lately where some people have made comments to me and to other people where they kind of have talked about, well, you know, I used to be on a very high-performing team, a team that was doing very well, the morale was very high, et cetera, and now I don't feel that. I wanted to bring it up because it brings up some kind of interesting emotions for me because, like, on the one hand, I felt very proud of what we did with that team and what we did with Everest and the product and the people and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, like, now I feel like almost a little bit that I've let them down or, that I can't help them even though they're unhappy at this point. So it's an interesting position to be in where this is the first team that I managed.
Mm-hmm.
At least, large team. We've always kind of worked on that product, but this was a full rewrite, so it was like a very large scale project. And so first project that I've kind of run end to end. And yeah, seeing them kind of go from like a high and saying like this was something that I'm really proud of and really happy doing and being on this team and to a point where now they don't feel happy, and I can't do anything about it. It's really frustrating.
It's difficult because we didn't have that level of performance really on a team in Seattle before that experiment, and I think that was a pretty exciting time. Like in the moment, it probably felt very stressful, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think the lesson here too is that a lot of it is in retrospective. Like in the moment, it's like you're just dealing with whatever's coming at you. So in the moment on the team, you're dealing with the stress of the deadline because that was a very tight deadline. We had a lot of pressure to get things done in a very short amount of time with a limited number of resources, pretty well staffed towards the end, but still very tight crunch. And so I don't know how many people would have the perspective that it like, oh, this is great, but retrospective, and you go back and you do something different afterward, and then then you're comparing, right? Like, well, compared to what we had, like, holy shit, this was a really amazing thing we had there.
But I mean, I think but even during the project, right, we had times that we were working in, every week into the late hours, like we'd have people at the office till 9 o'clock. And that was something that I asked for. I didn't obviously demand it, but pretty much everybody volunteered.
People stayed late and they came often.
And we're pretty okay with doing it, assuming they didn't have like some other kind of commitment. And so in that respect, obviously the morale was okay because otherwise people would be like, F off. I'm not putting in extra hours to this project.
Not
right?
interested.
Yeah. And so I think everybody bought in, and it was good in that way. And so, like I said, there was another message that came into me from Allie, and she put it on her top 10 list of things for the year, which I thought was really awesome. Like that, I felt really, really great about that, and I thought that was cool that she shared it. But again, same thing applies. If people are unhappy currently, it bums me out because that was something that we theoretically, I guess, could have continued as well. Right, but the team kind of broke up. So that was kind of the basis, I guess, of the discussion is like the breakup of a team, and how that works, and the dynamics that are created from a team kind of coming apart or going separate ways.
And what do you take away from that? Because obviously, like, there was a lot of success. Like, there's a little bit of extremes here where you had like successes to celebrate, but some desolation as well that it couldn't go on. That it isn't the case anymore quite the same way. How do you handle that? What do you do with that?
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like ultimately all good things come to an end, right? And that was the time for that to end. It's unfortunate that I couldn't continue. Like somebody couldn't pick up from where I left off. I mean, no fault of the people that took over. I mean, there was a lot of different things that were put in place after that changed kind of the dynamic of the team. So, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. I think things are going to continue to evolve and change, and that's fine. But like I said, it was just a little weird position to be in because something that I was very proud of, and now it's either no longer at all, or people are unhappy. And it's interesting to come into another team like Zach works here in Denver. I mean, unless you tell me otherwise, the morale here seems very good. Everybody works together really well. Everybody's on the same team and working for each other, and things are great. And it's really, really good to be a part of that, right? Really exciting to be a part of that. And I think that's probably partially why, you're happy doing what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, even like outside of work, we'll get together, which I don't know, every other company I've worked at have like one or two people that you hang out with, but we got a good group here.
That's great. And you've been here now for coming up on a year soon? No,
not till June.
No kidding. I would have expected a year too. Yeah.
Wow. I really fail at this because like we have a few people back in Seattle that I like grossly overestimate their tenure, and I thought, man, you guys were here for this time, and like, no, I started in February, or whatever it was.
There has been a lot of new guys start though. I mean, that's part of it too, and I think the credit to all of you that have started new because like I think you've all integrated quickly. Right, so I think that's what makes it feel like you've been here forever, is because like everything in the past, it was kind of almost a joke that like somebody new would come in and you'd be like, oh, they're not going to be useful for 6 months until they ramp up on the projects and the ideas and the concepts and all that kind of stuff. But like I feel like everybody that's come in recently has just like picked it up within a week or 2
short
weeks.
order.
I don't know about a week, but definitely.
But I mean, you were probably contributing something.
Oh yeah. The expectation was that you do 1 or 2 tickets per sprint and then build up the momentum. And it helps when you're working on the same products day in and day out. You really learn the ins and outs.
And you're hearing things and absorbing things, and you guys are all kind of situated in the same area. So there's a little osmosis there where you're just hanging out, and over time you start to get the lingo, you start to understand where things go and how it works, and it builds on itself.
Yep.
And then you're doing shit in a pretty short time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you get kind of a high functioning team, which is something that that's something that I strive for. In the Everest team, like that was one of the things I think that people were happy with, is we were completing a shitload of work in really constrained timelines. And so making sure that everybody is happy working together, the environment's good, people like each other, want to hang out with each other. That just makes everybody want to like be more cohesive, and in times of difficulty, especially, like, Zach's going to stay here and help me because, he cares, right? Whereas like in other environments, maybe you just be like, F off, I'm going home, I got stuff to do.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not invested in it, and if here's the other thing too. I mean, like we talked about this before too, but you have to have periods of rest in between. It can't constantly be a race. And so if you're racing for months, that's not really a race anymore. It's just abuse. You're just getting beat up. It's a different thing altogether. And so it's important that you have time for recovery, time to relax, time to do your own fun shit for a little bit, or like we just haven't had a time to really back off and just like have our Google 20% time to go dick around with some new idea in a long time.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a different question about leading up to the performance of that team. Like, because I remember the kind of glory days there when things were really moving along in the summertime and the spring, summer. But I also remember when that project started, it was pretty lean, and it was probably 18 months ago when it was really just an idea. 2 years ago, maybe it was an idea, and it was just really kind of you poking around and maybe one or two other people poking around in the back corner over there.
Yep.
So, I mean, what led to the success of that? Like, how did that really gain momentum? Do you remember what it was like back then?
I do. I mean, I remember the early days of starting it and just kind of trying to scaffold it out a little bit, I guess, for lack of a better word, right? You're trying to kind of build the foundation a little bit and lay the pillars of what Everest was going to be. And those times definitely were frustrating because not only were you implementing new technologies that not all the devs were familiar with, you were implementing new front-end technologies that not everybody was familiar with. You had people kind of coming and going. This is kind of a traditional problem that we have here at Quote Wizard, right? People come into the project, get pulled from the project, right? And that happened a number of times as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of stop and start at the beginning and a little bit of frustration getting things rolling, but it felt like there was kind of that one point where like suddenly everything was really rolling downhill, but it did take a while to get to that point.
I guess the reason why I asked that is just because, like, how do you replicate something like that in another system? Especially, sounds like things here have been set up already a little bit and things are already going really well. But if you're coming into a brand new team, how do you really create that, or what does it take to make that happen? It's an interesting question. I wonder about.
I feel like the biggest thing is, I think there's a couple things. Trust is number one. You got to build trust with the team.
Yeah.
I think everybody that was on that team, was again working for each other, wanted to meet the goal, meet the timeline, and was all invested. And part of that is just, I think, one of the things we keep talking about at the office is like co-locating or everybody being in the same room, which was another thing that we had the advantage of. Pretty much.
You mostly were, weren't you?
I mean, we were spread across a couple rooms, but generally speaking, we had a really good communication even amongst the rooms.
Yeah.
And we did, all the agile ceremonies. We did stand-ups. We made sure everybody was on the same page. Made sure everybody was working on the right things and played to people's strengths, which I think was another big piece of it. If somebody was super strong on the front end or something like that, we gave them the front end pieces and let them really run with it, because you know what, they're gonna knock those things out in no time, and let them play to whatever their strengths happen to be.
Well, and to that point, what I noticed about the team and was appealing to me coming in, because I was a member for a brief minute, was that you had pretty good focus. Like there was a singular focus on this mission to get this done.
That's fair. There wasn't a lot of distraction or what's the term that Johnny always likes to use? Randomization.
Randomization.
We don't have a lot of randomization going on. Yeah.
I think that's critical.
And to be fair too, the other thing too, I think that was done really well was, and I don't know who was involved in it, but the business was fairly pushed back in terms of what they could request. So the previous iteration of the product that we were building had a lot of bugs, day-to-day bugs, just constantly, right?
Yeah.
And those were allowed to be filed, and we would generally take care of them in pretty quick order. But during the course of the project, they basically told them, we're not going to fix too much.
Yeah.
If it's critical, we'll fix it. But beyond that, we're not going to do too much. And so that gave us a little bit of leeway to continue to push on the project and really make some pretty good progress pretty quickly. We also had pretty good business partners, which is another thing that Denver has that's very important to them and helps them a lot is being able to interact with the business side and kind of get those questions answered quickly and effectively and just have that dialogue constantly going back and forth and making sure that you have everything built the right way.
Yeah, and you're not getting too far ahead of where you need to be without getting some validation that you're doing the right things.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say like it wasn't fraught with problems. Like this project, I mean, it was something that I'm very proud of. It was not built in a way that I would want to build projects any other time. It was on a very compressed timeline due to requirements that were kind of pressed upon us. So, I mean, ultimately, the product is riddled with problems. They can be fixed, but it's going to take some time, and we knew that. But unfortunately, those are kind of coming to fruition a little bit here and causing a lot of stress for other people, which is disappointing, but on the same token, like I knew that was coming.
It's not a surprise when, look, I've seen really high functioning teams. There's a line here, right? Like there's a line, but I think it's almost proportional to the planning. Like the more time you have to plan, like if you really are a high functioning, like you spend probably 80% of your time planning and 20% on execution. I mean, that's an extreme. That doesn't happen very often, but there are some really well organized, defined team. What happens a lot of times is that you've got some lesser combination. You've got more of a hybrid 50-50 or a 40-60 where we're kind of planning on the fly or we're trying to develop things on the go and we haven't really thought it out yet. And that's where you really get kind of hosed. I mean, I would think that's one part of it. I think the other part of it is too, is that if this is not greenfield and you're coming from a legacy system, then what kind of considerations do you get to make to update the legacy system or in our case, the data store? Or is it just really like, hey, we can't really mess with that. We just have to fix this part of it.
I think you touched on something else that I think is important here too, is that like, as a leader, one of the things that I firmly believe in is especially coming into something new, is to observe and not change, at least in the early days, right? There's no way to like destroy trust faster than to just like come in and start making crazy accusations or crazy suggestions and not understand like why things are the way that they are, right? Mm-hmm. And that was something I think that I was able to leverage in this way a little bit too, and slowly implement things, slowly over time, and not just kind of like slam the gate down and say like this is the way it's going to be. And so another thing that I want to note too, and that you kind of also talked about, is this project was planned out better than any project that ever Quote Wizard has done, and that's a testament to Ali and project management groups that worked on that. And so we had a really good backlog of tickets and things that needed to be completed, which is something that we haven't had before. Again, like you mentioned, we build it on the fly, or we would plan it on the fly. And later in the project, I think the things that really people started to enjoy were some of the things that started to get implemented in terms of the Agile process that we slowly started bringing in. We were starting to be able to point tickets successfully and had a whole sprint of work kind of in the queue before it even started, which is something that we never had during the entire course of the project.
Brand new for this group.
Exactly. So some of those things that we were slowly starting to implement, I think people were starting to really see the value, and I think that's where some of the high marks came from.
Totally agree with you, man. I mean, it's very interesting. How do you create high-performing teams? How do you get them to last? And then when they have to break up, how do you start that process all over again?
Yeah. I guess if you can answer that question, you're $1 million manager or something, right?
Nobody pays managers $1 million. What are you talking about? I want to switch gears, kind of segue a little bit. We have a little bit of time, I think, maybe.
Well, we're over. So I mean, we have all the time we want.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get your nod of approval there, boss. Because I wanted to follow up with Survey on this because the last time we had him on the show, we were talking about development and we're talking about mobile development and frameworks and technologies and projects that you were working on that you were maybe going to get into. I think it was kind of an idea.
Yeah, absolutely. So the project I was working on, or still working on, outside of Quote Wizard, is a workout app called Bod Genius, and we launched that right after Thanksgiving, in between Christmas, in the Apple Store.
And when did that project take flight? When did you start really getting into that project? It was
November 2018.
okay, so about a year.
Yeah, about a year. There are originally there were just 2 engineers and 1 business development. We're up to 4 engineers now, so development's moving a little more quickly.
Right on.
Even though we have our app in the App Store, we're basically going to deprecate it since we're moving everything to Flutter.
You are? Interesting.
We are.
Well, shit. And now the initial build was done in
Swift.
React. Oh, it was Swift. Oh, shit. Okay, so it was iOS only. It was on Swift. And now you're migrating to Flutter.
Correct. That way we have one code base,
I love this. Okay.
so we can have it deployed to 2 different devices.
So you'll go to Android and everything else. And I mean, when you're doing this now, I imagine that you've already worked through a lot of the workflow's been figured out, the logic's been figured out, but you're pretty much rewriting this. You're not really porting it over, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't anticipate it to move quickly because there's certain features in Flutter that there's certain features in Swift that aren't going to be in Flutter. So how we deprecate or basically migrate those same features from native code to
Interesting.
Flutter.
And so so you got it out there. It took about a year. You got it into the App Store, and I don't know. I mean, what can you say about that whole process? Like, was that more than you expected? Like, was it longer than you thought?
It was definitely longer than I thought. Everyone that's working on this project, it's all part-time, and more times than not, I'm sure you guys can attest to this, that you go home after a long day of work, the last thing you want to do is crack open the computer and stare at a screen for a few more hours and write code. So, definitely just building that momentum up and just scheduling like a weekly meeting. And we use Trello and have different cards. So that's how we decipher the work.
Awesome.
So
you have a project management system that you're using to get work scheduled and done, and a weekly meeting to follow up, and just even if it was a slow week because people were busy or had a lot of work to do, it was like, okay, well, here's what we're going to get for next week and get going. And
exactly. And I mean, we're not on any sort of deadline. It's just when you can get this out, get it out.
Right.
So.
Awesome. So what led to the decision then to switch from Swift to Flutter? I mean, was it primarily just because you wanted to go on Android next and didn't want to have 2 code bases, or was there any other decisioning?
That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I had a mock-up of like our logon screen in Kotlin, and still, we were still trying to get the iOS version out, and that was right when I started. So we had 2 different code bases. We still have 2 different code bases, but eventually we'll go down to 1.
Awesome. And then when you were designing the Swift version, I mean, how much... I know that the front-end code really isn't translatable, but do you have a pretty robust set of APIs that you already have in place that's like, that work's done, we don't have to worry about that, come back to that again?
Yeah, exactly. So Kevin, the guy I am working on this project with, his main goal was to build the APIs, the database, and my main focus was working on the iOS part of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then as he finished the API, he jumped on to the iOS part.
Awesome. And what did you like about working in Swift?
I think what I like about Swift, opposed to Flutter, is definitely having the drag and drop UI components, and then you just hold and then click and drag, and then you're component is connected to the code. With Flutter, you have to programmatically create all the components and the widgets. So that's definitely quite a bit of a shift.
Yeah.
But overall, I like it. I like how quickly Flutter builds. Because Xcode uses so much memory. Whereas if I just open VS Code and then run a simulator for an iPhone and an Android, you can have both devices running at the same time.
Yeah. Like real-time updates. And
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
You say this thing was called Bod Genius?
Yes.
Does it teach you how to get dad bods?
The opposite.
Well, I mean, that's called...
That means there's an opportunity for we have a new niche that we can get into.
That's right. Yeah.
Dad bod genius.
That's right. Yeah, this is the next iteration of the app.
We might have to like pay them some royalty fees. For this one. This is good. This is good. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't care what Christina says about it. I don't want to ask the Rifkin either. I'm just telling you, man. Anecdotally, I know that there's room for a dad bod out there. Some people don't mind a dad bod. I'm not talking about like beer belly. That's a little different. Like big beer belly. Okay, you got to scale it back a little bit. You got to download dad bod genius.
And what is it going to tell you to do?
It's going to tell you to cut back a little bit. I mean, you can't just be on an all beer diet, man. If you're doing the like beer belly is not going to be a good thing. But if you're doing a little bit more moderation, then you're in the money.
I mean, maybe it could just, what we were talking about earlier, like, you need to calm the fuck down.
You need to calm the fuck down. That's been your saying all week this week. I don't know what he's all hyped up on, but like everybody he's talking to this week, he's just like, you need to calm the fuck down. And I think you should text that to every person that responds to you for the next 2 days.
Yeah, that was going to be my opener to everybody I talked to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was all Tristan's fault.
Hey, Mr. Boss, I need a new laptop.
You need to calm the fuck down.
There you go. There you go. That should be your response for the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Anybody that texts Kyle Johnson, who's watching online, I'm really impressed. You're on the show, and you're watching online right now too. This is great. I got a notification that you're watching.
I think I opened it up on the laptop there.
Yeah.
A family from Canada watching.
Oh, welcome from Canada.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah. You were recently up there, right? You traveled to Canada for the holidays. How was
I did.
that?
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Lots of drinking, lots of eating, not enough sleeping.
Ooh, hey. Not a lot of sleeping, eh?
Oh.
Very nice.
You made the easy joke.
I like that. It was a layup. I had to take it.
All right.
Very good. I wanted to touch base with Survey on that particular topic, and because we didn't really give him a whole lot of time, hold on a second.
Hold on.
I just want to ask if there's anything else of relevance that you wanted to bring to the Coffee Codecast since last time. I mean, it's been a little while since we talked to you on the show.
I don't think so.
You're doing
I
good?
mean, I talk to you guys on a daily basis, so I mean, you know what's going on.
Let everybody else know what's happening, man. You're doing. How has work changed since the last time? Are you doing some different stuff right now, or?
No, still. I mean, I'm trying to. Can I talk about that? You know where I'm going with this.
I don't care. I mean, I think you have varied interests. You've done well here so far.
I'll put it this way: I have expressed interest to work on
Other
project.
Yeah.
Other things.
A new exciting project. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, you've done well in your time here so far. I can't believe it hasn't been a year yet.
I'm with you. Very good. How's that claw?
Just a little bit left. It's
Yeah?
warming up. I don't mind it. I don't need the claw to be totally cold. I like it when it's a little bit like kind of
Room temperature.
-4 or 5. But yeah.
That's moderation.
Yeah, that's right.
Well
Gotta
done.
Moderate the temperature there.
Very good. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Flying back tomorrow. I don't know. Not really. I mean, next episode is episode 60.
That's right. It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be a doozy.
Maybe.
We got a lot to talk about.
Sure.
Are we bringing the 2 cameras back?
Why not? I mean, I got to figure out how to make the power stay on that one.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it kind of is a big one because we'll probably have the big Kim birthday reveal.
oh yeah, true.
Kim is going to be so excited about this.
Yeah.
She's never been this excited about a birthday before.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
All right, thanks, Zach, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Our artwork is provided by Yurnay, the Gentle Giant. You
The
can check
Gentle
out
Giant.
more of his artwork at www.coffeecodecast.com/gentlegiant. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Email us at coffeecodecast@gmail.com. Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, puppy.
Look at the puppy.
Oh, come here, little guy. And go to coffeecodecast.com/review and post your favorite puppy photos.
Oh, look at the yawn. Oh!
He's like, I'm glad this fucker's over, finally. And whatever else you want to do. And if you want stickers, let us know. And We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, everybody.